Okay, good morning. Good morning to all. Namaste. Welcome to Stretch and Meditate, a 30-minute class. For those of you who have been here with me before, the format is 30 minutes where we're going to start with some gentle stretches. The idea is to get us ready for the rest of the day. And here, at least on the eastern coast of the U.S., it's still morning time. So here, people are still waking up. People getting ready to start their day, their work. So just carving out 30 minutes to get us ready is a little bit of this idea, especially during confinement, where we're stuck in same spaces and our bodies just don't move. They can't move as much. So I invite you all to find somewhere, if you have a yoga mat or you have just a space at home where you can sit comfortably without having too many distractions, too much noise. And today we are going to be working with a blanket or a thick towel, and also with a bolster or a cushion. All right, so the idea being that these are props that are going to be very useful. Now, if you don't have them, it's not the end of the world, all right? So we will be able to modify accordingly. Okay, so I invite you all to come onto the floor, and we are going to open up the blanket. So I believe you can hit pause on your device if you need to go get it so that you miss anything. Anyway, I'm going to go slowly. So the idea is that we grab the blanket, the towel, whatever, and we start rolling it, because we're going to make this kind of roll and place it kind of 2/3 up the mat. And the idea is that we're going to lie on top of it, and this is going to allow our chest and our shoulders to broaden and arch the back a little bit. We're always either sitting or slouching forward, especially now that we're home and we don't really have that many chances to walk and move around. So by lying down on this and finding that spot that is just below the shoulder blades, we're able to start opening up the chest. All right, so meet me here. Find that sweet spot. You might need to wiggle around a little bit to find that spot. And once you're here, allow your shoulders to just drop. Allow your neck to relax. The neck is long, making sure that nothing is crunched up. So extend the legs as much as you can. Wiggle your hips until you find that sweet spot. And this feels like we're not doing anything, but we're actually doing a lot already, because we are opening up the heart, opening up the chest, relaxing the body, tuning in, and we're going to start breathing. In yoga, we call it the 3-part breath. So as we get a gentle back bend, we start to tune in. Close your eyes. Start breathing into your chest, your rib cage, and then your belly. Noticing how the diaphragm pushes down your internal organs, the intestines, down to the pelvis, the pelvic floor. And then exhale backwards, belly, rib cage, and shoulder, chest. One more round like this, deeper if possible. And with every exhale, we allow the weight of our body, the gravity, to pull us down a little bit further, a little bit deeper. Tuning in into our bodies, doing a gentle body scan. Where are we right now? Where is my mind right now? Am I calm? Am I busy? I'm already thinking about what's about to come during the rest of my day. I invite you to set aside all those preoccupations, those worries, those to-do lists, at least during the few minutes that we're going to be together and just enjoy the company of your own self, your own breath, your own body. It's called self-care. So important. So as you start to allow your parasympathetic nervous system, that's the heal, relax, recover system, contrary to the fight or flight system. And we just allow ourselves to be. Nowhere to go. Nothing else to do other than just relaxing right now. On the next inhale, we're going to bring our arms up and then slide them backwards for a stretch, full body stretch. So you can keep your hands apart or grab one wrist with the other hand and then stretch your legs away from your body. Involve the entire body and notice how good this feels for your vertebrae and relax. All right, we're going to come on to our left side, so it doesn't matter which side, just choose one side. And we're going to still have this blanket on the side, which is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but basically what we're going to try to get is a bit of a side stretch on the top arm, on the top rib cage. Bend your knees, use your bottom arm as a pillow, and then use the top arm to really stretch up and around. Feel the stretch, allowing the chest cavity, the rib cage, the intercostal muscles to really expand sideways. Take a deep breath with me. And exhale. Can you stretch that top arm a little bit more? Inhale deeply. And exhale. All right, so you're going to come back on your backs and turn around onto the other side. Still finding that spot, allowing you to find that spot that allows you to stretch. So bring your top arm up and around, feeling the stretch. Really connecting to your breath here. One more breath here. Really sinking down and getting that side stretch. And then slowly push yourself up and around, coming into a cross-legged position. We're going to push away the mat from the side for the time being. All right. And we're going to grab our bolster. All right. So bolster, cushion, whatever. All right. If you don't have one, you can still use the blanket. All right. So there are options here. So the idea is that we're going to use this to put our weight on it. All right. So as we push, as we come forward with our legs crossed, making sure that our sits bones are fully grounded, then we use this as a support to come into a forward fold that you can set higher if you need to. This is totally fine, as well as a lower version or a totally not using anything. But the idea is to find that spot where you can feel the stretch. So here, you keep going with your forward fold as I keep talking to you. We're allowing our glutes, our hips, our lumbar muscles, the lower spine, all those muscles to stretch forward. All right. And at the same time, we continue breathing. The breath accompanies, the entire movement. So make sure that you're not forgetting about the breath. So keep tuning into your body. Keep finding that space where you can send the breath, even if we're forward folding. It's a little bit more difficult. All right, so try to send the breath, the air towards the sides, towards the back, maybe to the upper chest. Push yourself up, turn around. So undo that crossing of the legs, bring the other leg forward, and we're gonna forward fold once again, whatever you're using, whether it's the blanket, the bolster, whatever, and we fold forward. Tuning in into your hips, tuning in into those areas that are a little bit tight, and make a mental note about those areas that are tight. Is that something that happens always? Is it something that's happening today? Is it because you didn't sleep well? So it's actually important in our stretching practice, yoga, exercise, whatever, to kind of make notes of what's going on in our body and start to see some patterns. All right, so we're gonna push ourselves up back to a cross-legged position. All right, so we did reverse pigeon on Tuesday, and I'm getting comments that people really like it because people have tight hamstrings and lower back pain. So for me, pigeon is the best posture for lower back pain. At first it might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but just follow along. I'll be showing you how to get into pigeon. All right, so basically we're gonna bring our left leg backwards, and the right leg is forward, but the knee is bent. All right, so many of us, this is as far as up, as far down as we can go because everything is tight right now. And in that case, we can place the blanket underneath the right hip to support us because otherwise it's too intense. And the idea is that we're gonna stay here for a few seconds to allow all those areas to open up. The hip flexors, the psoas muscles that are so connected to the lower back. All right, so as we stay here, whether you're using something to support your right hip or not, we continue in a proud pigeon, as we call it in yoga, really pointing the left toes towards the back, opening up the chest, broadening the neck, broadening the chest, the heart center. Why do we do this? And why is it so important to open up the chest? Because as we open up the chest, we get a better stretch here in the hip flexor and the psoas muscle. This is a good abdominal stretch as well. So close your eyes if you haven't done so already, and let's stay here for maybe 15 more seconds, allowing those hips to lower closer to the ground. If this starts to become a little bit too comfortable, then you can wiggle your back leg backwards a little bit more, and you will notice how this will intensify the stretch. So here we're getting a left hip flexor and psoas stretch on the left side, as well as a hamstring and glute stretch on the right side. So it's a win-win. All right. So let's stay here for one more round of breath. Let's all do this together. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. All right, how do we come out of it? We basically open up the hip, and we're going to go for a forward fold. In yoga, we call it Janu Shirshasana. So the right sole of the foot comes to the inside of the left foot. Yes, 90 degrees, pretty much. Doesn't have to be exact. And here we're going to start rounding forward. Okay, so as soon as you start rounding forward, folding forward, you're going to notice two things. This is going to get tight, the lower back, as well as the left leg hamstring. Okay, so immediately we want to start rounding because this makes it easier. But in fact, here the objective is not to fold all the way, but actually to get a deeper stretch and a safer stretch. So if this is already a lot, just by sitting like this is a lot, then you can bend your knee, you can bring something underneath your knee, that's totally fine, as well as using the other props. So for example, if this is already a little too much, then you can use a prop. You can use this cushion or this bolster, and you can just hang out here. The bolster is green, and the green screen, so right now it's, oh, that's really funny. Well, it is what it is. Okay, so basically we're using whatever it is to help us stay here for a few seconds. Noticing how with every exhale we can fold forward a little bit more. How do you like my transparent bolster? Okay, one more breath here. Flexing the left toes, left foot. Feeling that stretch. Trying to not slouch forward, but really like maintaining that straight back. And then we release that. We're gonna go for pigeon on this side. So we're gonna bring the right leg backwards. We're gonna bend the left knee. So coming back to our pigeon, which many of us have a love-hatred relationship with. And once again, if this is too intense, you can use that blanket and place it underneath your left hip just to give you a little bit more support so that this is tolerable, because this is very intense for many of us. All right, so whether you're using a prop or not to support your hip, try to square your hip bones to the floor, bringing them, sinking them closer into the floor. Yeah, and with your hands, your arms are active, pushing yourself up. This will create a better extension and a better stretch on the right side. So here we're getting a stretch on the right hip flexor and psoas, and a deeper stretch in the left leg, hamstring and glute area, hip area. All right, so let's close our eyes, broadening the chest, lengthening the neck. Noticing how with every exhale, we can sink in a little bit more. If this gets a little too easy, you can wiggle your right leg a little bit more backwards. That will intensify the stretch pretty much everywhere. One more cycle of breath here. And exhale, release. Let's come back into a cross-legged position. One final stretch before we go into meditation. So as we come into cross-legged position, if this is, still too intense, you can use a prop to sit up on it. But basically, we're going to lengthen our spine. We're going to raise our arms, high prayer, and then we're going to twist towards the right, and then place the left hand over the right knee, the right hand behind the sacrum, behind the floor, and we're going to go for a side stretch. All right, so lengthen the spine, the shoulders are broad. Take a deep inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to twist and hold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist a little bit more. One more cycle of breath here. Inhale, extend. Exhale, twist. Coming back through center. High prayer, navel to spine. Stretch up. And then on the exhale, bring the right hand over the left knee, the left hand behind your back on the floor. Lengthen the spine and the neck on the inhale. And exhale, gentle twist. One more inhale. And twist, feeling all that rib cage and the internal muscles twisting, giving it a gentle massage. One last cycle of breath. And exhale. Coming out of it, high prayer, navel to spine. Feel the stretch. And release, come down. All right, so let's get into meditation. Mindfulness meditation. I invite you to use something underneath your seat. Doesn't have to be very high, but basically the idea is that when our hips are elevated higher than our knees, we can keep our back straight. And of course, meditation is already challenging enough. We don't want our back to be the reason why we can't sit for an extended period of time. All right, so as you find your long, neck, your long chest. We're going to stay in meditation. I invite you to close your eyes now. And I'm going to turn the music off because it can get a little distracting. Connecting to your breath. Allowing your shoulders to relax. Do a gentle scan of your body. Noticing if these few stretches have already set you in a different state. Maybe in preparation for meditation, same as yoga. Yoga is done not for the sake of yoga, but to prepare us for meditation, as are the stretches we did this morning. So a reminder that mindfulness meditation is a practice where we're focusing on the breath. It's the object of our focus, of our attention. So start noticing the sensations of the breath, of the air as it comes in through your nose and down the throat into your chest cavity. All the subtle little sensations that happen every time we inhale and exhale. And basically the breath and noticing the sensations on the breath is the anchor of our practice. It's a way to control. The word control doesn't sound very good, but it's a way to try to come back to a state of attention and not distraction. The mind has its ways of sending us to other places with our thoughts, with our visions, visualization, imagination, projection. And basically the practice of mindfulness is coming back to the breath, because that helps us bring us back to the here and the now. Observing ourselves. Observation and self-study is the only action that we're supposed to do during mindfulness meditation. We observe without judgment, without attachment, and then we let that go. We come back to the breath. Every breath is a new beginning. It's a full cycle. Beginning, middle, and end, only to start all over again. From the great teacher John Kabat-Zinn, we learned that mindfulness is also paired with heartfulness. And what he means by this term is that in our practice, we should also be incorporating the loving kindness element. It's not just about observing, but also to have a loving kindness rapport with the observations as that we receive them. And that helps us in the non-attachment and non-judgment of our observations. Being kind to ourselves is so important, and yet we so often forget to do it. Keeping your eyes closed, I invite you to flip your palms upwards. And still very much in a meditative mode, notice if there's any sensations that change just by changing the posture, the angle of the palms of your hands. Slowly, I invite you to open up your eyes just ever so slightly. And with a soft gaze, start to observe the floor, but just softly. Transitioning out of this mindfulness meditation practice by slowly letting in visual information. But the challenge here is, can you still stay focused on the breath without the ideas and the distractions from coming? And if they come, you observe them and you let them go. Start to open your eyes a little bit more. Focusing your gaze still on the floor. And we do one final body scan. Extending our observation to all body parts. Noticing any sensations, temperature, tingling, blood flow, energy currents. Bring your hands together, bring your prayer to the third eye in the middle of your forehead. Close your eyes for a moment, lengthen your back. Bow forward, just as a token, as a gesture of gratitude towards yourself, gratitude towards finding the time to take care of yourself and to prepare yourself for a better day. That's the power of transformation in what we do in these kind of practices. So that's it for today. Please visit my website. It's on the screen. There are many more videos and much more content in there. Soon I'm going to be sending out a newsletter with other tips and tricks for lower back issues, nutrition. I am also a nutritionist. So if you'd like to receive my newsletters that include my videos, other videos, not just these live classes, please go into my website and subscribe and check out the content that I've been working on very hard these last few weeks. Until then, namaste, have a beautiful day. And also, if you can, send me a text to tell me that you saw this class, because unfortunately, I can't see who's seeing my classes. So it'd be really useful for me to know who's out there and who's finding this of value. All right, have a great day. Bye.